I'll be honest with you guys, the only reason I'm doing this video is because I got a new gram scale. Because I've been using this tiny piece of crud for like 4 years. Hello you dirty potters, how are you today? Today I want to give you the recipe to my floating blue, because there's 2 different variations to the floating blue that I like to use, and this is variation number 1. And as always, of course, I'm going to read the recipe off to you right now, as well as put it down in the description below, just in case you only want the recipe and you don't want to watch my real channel. Shut up kid, give me that recipe. I will also be putting it right here for your beautiful eyes to look at. The recipe is nepheline cyanide at 47.3%, Gerstley Borate at 27%, Silica at 20.3%, E.P.K at 5.4%, Bentonite at 2% because we need that deflocculant, Rutile at 4%, red iron oxide at 2%, and always gotta have that good old Cobalt Carbonate. But this is only at 1%. I'm not gonna lie to you though, I put a lot more than 1% in there because I love Cobalt Carbonate. Just as a side note, Cobalt Carbonate is extremely strong and extremely expensive. So if you're thinking about buying any specifically for making this glaze, buy like 1/4 of a pound. It'll last you a very long time. And I only need 1% of this, so I'm only gonna need 60 grams of this. And remember, a pound is around 400 grams, so you really only need the tiniest bit, and you'll have some left over as well. And of course, as always, we're gonna put these on all the textiles I have, right, just to make sure they're all good to go. So right here I have my stoneware, here's my porcelain, here's my redstone clay, and here's B-Mix, because everyone in the world uses B-Mix. Except for that one guy down in the comments below who's like, oh, I'm super special, I don't use B-Mix. Be quiet, Chad, you know most people use B-Mix, don't play with me. Yeah, that's right. I got impatient. I just stopped using the scooper altogether. I don't even care. Oh, let's deflocculate this mug. Yeah. Hope I have enough to I hope I have enough. I really hope I have enough. This is straight rutile, and usually I put a little bit less rutile in this recipe than needed, simply because whenever I make this glaze, I always notice it comes out brown on some clays instead of blue, and this brown comes from this rutile majoritively and the red iron oxide. So I always put like maybe a gram less or 2. I'm tired of using the scooper. I refuse now. I'm spoiled now. I don't want to use a scooper. And now for the Cobalt Carbonate. This stuff right here is the reason I don't do drugs. I don't have any money after buying Cobalt Carbonate to buy drugs. I know we reached our amount, but I always put a little bit more Cobalt Carbonate in there just for a little bit of extra blue. Alright, cool, we got all the chemicals in there. Yeah. I got Glaze in Atlanta. What a Silica banana. Now we take it outside and give it the high-tech clean water. That's right, I don't even measure my water. I just put straight in there. And now for our high-tech whisking process, called my right hand. Oh, what's that? You want my water? Yeah, there you go. Yeah, you thirsty. And now we put the sieve on top. Boop. I put it on top of the wrong one.
Are you finished, Mr. Slade?
I'm gonna test this floating blue recipe with a couple other recipes I have. Okay, we're looking pretty good here. Now I'm gonna do these textiles here and see how it all works out. Here we have a porcelain one, here we have B-Mix, here we have my redstone from down the street, E.P.K, and here we have a stone white clay. So we're gonna test all of these on this floating blue here and see how they all come out. And these 2 back here are gonna be different variations. And we're gonna leave them in this order so we can see porcelain, B-Mix, redstone, stoneware. So this one is floating blue on porcelain, this one is B-Mix, here's my redstone, and here's my stoneware clay. And these ones back here are just for fun. So this one's my redstone clay, these 2 right here, and these 2 are by B-Mix. But this right here is floating blue with Randy's red on top, and these two over here are floating blue with Randy's red on the bottom. So we're gonna see how all these come out right in about a week.
Tomorrow.
Okay, it is now the morning, and this thing went off as per, oh, it stayed up. That's crazy. A weird thing happened though to me. 2 nights ago, 8 p.m., I loaded this, and then I came home last night at about maybe 11 or 10 p.m. and this thing was still on. So this thing was going for like a full 24 hours, and I'm kind of worried to look what's in here. Alright, everything survived. Nice. It's still a little bit hot. That's crazy. I've had this thing cooling down for about 12 hours. And it's still a little bit hot. That's crazy. Okay guys, we're gonna try and take them out in order. Okay, I left these in the same exact order, and it's really sad because these came out more rutile brown than anything else, which, I mean, I guess I have a nice amber now, but this is one of the reasons why I always put a little bit more cobalt carbonate in there. The stupid crazy thing is these came out all brown or rutile colored looking. None of these matter right now. These all came out exactly how I thought they would come out, which is the reason why I always put a little bit more cobalt in my floating blue recipe. Is simply because this happens sometimes. And this is the Randy's red over the floating blue, and this is the floating blue over the Randy's red. These all came out brown, all of these. The super messed up thing is the only way you can actually tell that there's any blue in this recipe is the fact that this right here is the floating blue over the clear, so this one came out okay. And then this one right here is clear over floating blue. And these two are the only way you can actually tell. And these two are on B-Mix. So these two are the only way you can actually tell there's any blue in this recipe at all. is by looking at these two test styles right here. Everything else came out brown. But this usually happens to me, to tell you the truth. Usually I test them, this happens, then I go, okay, I guess I gotta put more blue in there. I can already see it now in the comments below, like, how much more blue? For every 100 grams, I usually put like 0.1 more gram in there. So the recipe should really be like 1.1 grams, to be honest with you, because cobalt's really strong. You know what? No, we're retesting this. I refuse to get brown. This is crap. Okay, so I put a little bit more cobalt carbonate in there, and I put a little bit more water in there as well. Let's see how it does. This is the real test over here. This is the actual test now, and I guess if this one doesn't work, I just have 6,000 grams of brown. So we're gonna come back in about a week, and I'm gonna show you guys this recipe works. I've had this recipe for like 4 years. There's no way it's not gonna work.
Later.
Okay, it's morning time now, and it looks like the next kiln load just went off, so we're gonna check it now. Okay, here's the frustrating part. These right here came out nothing like the recipe. This is not how they're supposed to look. Get out of here. I don't even love you no more. But we gotta look at this one in the sunlight. That's the crazy thing. I put all those test styles in there, and they all came out brown. But once I put it on actual clay body, it comes out blue like it's supposed to. That's messed up. So the recipe works. The problem is that they don't come right on a freaking test style. Is there another one in there? Yeah, there's another one in there. Look at that. That one came out a little bit better. And you can see the rutile right here. This is all rutile. The majority of this recipe, as far as things that make it change color, are titanium and rutile. But then the cobalt carbonate in here, that little bit of blue is what we're really looking for. And then I put clear on the outside because I can. Keep in mind, this is a fairly dark blue. So when you come right here, you can see it. It's really, really, really blue right here, right? It's this nice, wonderful titanium and rutile blue. But when you take it far away, it pretty much just looks like black. You see what I'm saying? So the recipe works. The problem is that it doesn't seem to work on these flipping test styles over here. You guys go in the pile of pottery. Look at that. Just look at that blue, man. Gotta make it look sexy. Nah, they won't take me out my element. Nah, take me out my element. Well, thank you guys very much for showing up today. Sadly enough, these are basically our two test styles right here, and I don't have enough light in this garage. Hopefully you get some use out of these recipes right here. And just remember, I added a tiny bit more cobalt carbonate than usual, so it's really, instead of 1%, it's about 1.1 or 1.2%, because the rutile turns out brown half the time, kind of like this variant right here, instead of this deep inside blue right here, because you see this line right here, that's straight rutile right there, and I don't want that. That's like a tiny bit blue. I want this deep, dark, sexy, sensual, chocolate Godiva eating blue right here. Yeah. So thank you guys very much for showing up. I'm not gonna show my face on camera right now because I just woke up and I do not look correct. If you guys want to see any more of my artwork, you can always find me on Facebook and on Instagram. The links are down below. The links are down below as always. I love your dirty potter faces, and I will see you next week. You know, the extremely messed up part is I used this floating blue on the bottom of this cup right here. So this one right here is Yano's green, and this one right here is the floating blue, and this came out fine. This came out that dark, nice blue that I actually like. But none of these damn test dials did. I feel like I went through all that just to show you this cup.